Hello, market researchers. We're going to take a look today at step 6. Yes, conducting our subset analysis, making sense of data, and then making sense of it more, right? Breaking something down into even smaller samples to really take a look at what the results of the survey are telling us. All right, so let's take a look at where we're going to find this in our reports. Well, we've conducted our title page, table of contents, introduction, body of the report. We've done our conclusions, and then after our conclusions, so after our 15 conclusions, right, 5 each from each person, each member of the group, each of you will then conduct a subset analysis and provide a little bit more information on one of the questions. So to reiterate, every group member, each of you has to complete a subset analysis. This is a correlation. So after your conclusions or within the conclusion section, it's up to you, you need to complete a subset analysis. This is a correlation between two questions. So one question is telling you something, and then you're making a connection to another question, so to further illustrate the results. What do we mean by this? So typically these connections are made between a general question, such as your club or extracurricular activity question, or something more specific, but again, within that those survey questions where it's all about the club or the promotion or whatever it is, your product in the marketplace. You're making a connection to a demographic question. So you're making a connection between their likes and maybe how many of those who like the product are male, or how many of those people who dislike the product earn over $100,000 or something like that. So you're making a connection between one question about your product, your service, or in this case your club or extracurricular activity, and a demographic characteristic of those respondents. So you're breaking something down into smaller groups. So the subset analysis should illustrate a connection between these two survey questions. You're going to want to provide a description of the connection. You're going to want to include percentages here to illustrate this description. So what percentage of those who responded they liked pizza, for example, and you'll see this, were male. Right? So you're going to indicate the significance as well of these results. You're going to, again, always try and make sense of this data. Answer the so what. Break it down into something more clear for those who are reading your research report. All right, so how is this going to look in your report? Let's take a look at an example. So to really illustrate this, I think the best way to do so is a visual representation. So imagine one of your questions, such as which food option do you prefer from the cafeteria, looked like the graph on the left. You have a number of small pieces of the pie, and then a very large piece that looks like Pac-Man. Well, this very large piece is pizza. 65% of those responded prefer pizza as a food option. The other ones don't really matter. So what you want to do is now break down this pizza response. 65% are saying pizza. Does that mean anything? Well, it does mean something on its own, but if you break it down into something more specific, all of a sudden you see it's even more important for the cafeteria to understand this. If you break down that 65%, you'll find that 90% of those who responded pizza were males. Males, I guess, love pizza, right? So this is giving you a little more clarity, a little more understanding of those who respond that they like or prefer pizza as an option, and therefore it makes it much more informative for the cafeteria. So how's this going to show up in your report? Well, again, after you've concluded each of your survey questions, you'll have another section of subset analysis. In this section, you'll have your paragraph, and each of your group members will have this paragraph. A paragraph could look like the following. According to question number 3, the majority, 65%, prefer pizza as a food option in Rick Hansen's cafeteria. This is by far the most common, i.e. mode, answer to this question. However, what is even more interesting and thus more important to understand is the vast majority of these respondents, 90%, were male. Therefore, in order to serve male students best and generate increased revenue from male consumers, the cafeteria has to add more pizza options to their menu. Furthermore, when it comes to promoting pizza, the cafeteria should gear this to the male consumer. This is the so what. You're saying pizza, yes, is a popular option, but it's even more popular for those male students, and therefore we really need to gear those options to those students. Right? Think about this in terms of course offerings at the school. If this was something when we were looking at what courses to decide upon, we would want to look at this, how it breaks down into a gender question so that we can offer it to both males and females, the best variety of courses. So when it comes to your assessment, how is this going to play out? Well, your rubric, again, is knowledge, thinking, application, and communication. Your subset analysis, again, because it's critical thinking, right? You're trying to understand the results and really describe them in a more informative way and provide that analysis, right? That thinking for your reader. So this is your thinking section, right? Level 4, your thorough and insightful analysis provided in conclusions. And this includes not just your conclusions, but your subset analysis, as you see there. Right? So you really want to address this and make sure that you're really breaking down a question and making a connection to another question and really illustrating this. All right, so that's it for this lesson. We'll take a look at the next step in the next video.